Seems like they're concocting a play right here too, taking their time walking up in the vertical stack.
They're trying to get that spacing right. Just comes short towards that far sideline. Turns, isolates the dump, getting it to the swing across this side of the pitch. Thought there was maybe an option there, but they think better of it. Just trying to be patient. Just off towards the sideline, and there's the break. Did really good work just to isolate that handler, get the disc in motion going towards the break side, and had that angle to zip it down the sideline. And Mainzelmädchen will open the scoring here, taking a 1-0 lead.
And it was real nice patience from Mainzelmädchen too, just to kind of swing the disc to see the options and then kind of let them develop too. And as you can see from the back of the stack, it just was first to the cone. You'll hear me preach it all day, every day.
Yeah, that can be your aphorism, I think. Just like, gotta get to the cone. Gotta get to that cone. So the wind makes things, when you're in the sun, it's absolutely lovely. When you're in the shade and the wind picks up, it's a little bit of a nip in the air.
I was about to say, you gotta put your jacket on. I just took mine off, but I might have to put mine back on. But it's also interesting too to see kind of how these teams will adjust to the wind, especially downwind, upwind, maybe some more slangs downfield, maybe some more underthrows. It'll be interesting. What do you think?
Yes, I imagine that is usually how it goes. When you've got the wind with you, you open up your deep game a little bit more, and when it's against you, you just try and piecemeal your way through it slightly. But we'll see. It's probably maybe a little bit more cross than it is up down.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see if they can do a good job funneling the play away from the sideline. Is that one? You could see the wind just pick that one up and tip it ever so slightly. Both of these teams have played already today. Let me find my pools. As this one goes deep for a Mainzelmädchen towards the sideline. I think that was towed in as well. Yeah, no argument from the Troubles player.
Very nice toe tap right there to get the swing.
A little bit of toe drag swag.
Hashtag.
See, we're poets and we didn't even have any idea. Trying to see if they can find the play coming to the front of the end zone. I was a little bit tripped up because there's another line there that I think is left over from football. That's not the one I should be looking at because they are comfortably in the end zone. And Mainzelmädchen break to take a 2-point lead. This is in the women's division. They're off 3 pools of 4, and there's 1 pool of 3. So Troubles have played. They've already played Terrible Monkeys in the first game of the day. Mainzelmädchen had that game off, and they will face the Terrible Monkeys in their next game. You just see it on the sideline, very clearly keeping that back foot down. Nice, good presence of mind and field awareness there.
That was just phenomenal right there to get the 1-2. And then swing it on down home.
So strong start from Mainzelmädchen this. Both of these sides have medalled at Euros before, but coming out of a pandemic, it's always interesting to see what sort of stages a team is at. I know that both of these teams have had players take time off or step away from the game in order to start a family, which is something that takes obviously a lot more pressure, as this one is put deep for Troubles, just a bit too far, which obviously tends to put a lot more strain. Well, it will naturally put a lot more physical strain on the women than it will do the men.
Agreed. So see here, Trouble has the flow kind of going. It's just a few little errors, mistakes that they need to just touch up right now. And I don't know if that's attributing to the wind or just kind of, the little, I guess, break in between. But once they can kind of tune that in, let's see if we can punch it in as well. But for right now, Mainzelmädchen with the disc.
We were very much enjoying the pre-game chant from Troubles when they were like, Mainzelmädchen, you're in trouble. And we thought that was good.
It was brilliant.
But so far, it's Troubles who are up against it a little bit here, although that one's underthrown. The defender's right there. So, not the commentator's curse, the commentator's grace, perhaps. That one looked a little bit behind and had to try and reach out an arm, but couldn't quite wrap the fingers around it. Here's Mainzelmädchen winding up the arm, picking up a nice...
She's looking deep.
Yeah, and there's a few players there, so absolutely makes sense. The jack and over the first player, and it really sank like a stone before it reached the second.
It really did. It took off like a jet and then just kind of flown by. It did get some fingertips on it, though. She was close, but it just died down. Again, you never know with the wind out here.
The one thing with that, I mean, absolutely the right look with a few players in the area, and it gives you that field position as well after the turn. And there is the turn, a little bit overthrown. Mainzelmädchen looking deep towards the back of the end zone this time, and actually the back of the end zone wins.
Yeah. I do like the ambition for Mainzelmädchen, though, just to kind of keep slinging and see their chances. As you can also kind of tell, too, on this end of the end zone, they're throwing a lot more downfield rather than kind of, I guess, moving it along the line like Trouble is. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's in that scenario, the back of the end zone always has the position there. Established it nice and early, and nothing they can do, of course. Yeah. And Troubles, well, they want to go deep themselves, and this is a beautifully weighted throw, right in stride. And well, why hang about when there's a player streaking down the far side of the field? And forget trying to inch your way up. Just 1, 2, and score. Beautiful stuff.
Buy 2, get 1 free. 1 score.
Right? How good is that? What a way for Troubles to get themselves on the board, because they were could have very easily been staring at a 3-0 deficit, but they showed a nice bit of character there.
I completely agree, yes. It's just kind of mental fortitude, using your boundaries, kind of forcing some throws downfield. Also, you know, again, with some drop passes, but take the chances you get, and now you're looking at a different game.
Yeah, the great Yankees catcher / manager, Jeuken, once said, you know, the harder you practice, the luckier you get.
Yep.
That's that sort of principle where, you know, if you keep plugging away or whatever, stuff will break your way.
It will.
And the question is whether you have the, you know, the investment in practice to try and come through those dicey spells. Break towards the far sideline. Very expansive fakes there, show that they really want that deep look. Fakes the underneath, Mark getting very active and probably did enough there just to keep the thrower off balance.
It was some nice trouble by defense. Excuse me, some nice trouble draw.
Defense by Troubles.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm having some troubles with that one.
Hey, almost set you up for that. Here's Troubles. Nice. That is some bomb. An absolute howitzer, but it's not just too much on that one. Pitch is maybe ever so slightly smaller than regulation size, and yeah, otherwise, I think that would have been good. I like that both teams not really afraid of the wind. They back themselves to gun it regardless.
I agree. You know, like we said earlier, shooters shoot, and so now we kind of see what Mainzelmädchen come with the vertical stack. Albinch, since they're on that line, kind of close to the end zone, do you think they might have a drawn-up play, kind of maybe the 5 in the stack go down, or maybe the reset come out early? I guess we'll see.
So they're trying to get the front to go deep, and use that space, opens up, but just rolls off the fingertips out of this sideline. Yeah, they clearly had a plan in mind, they just couldn't quite execute it.
I was about to say, it looks like they had a split stack, the 1 and the 2 just kind of split, and then the 3, the middle person, just come in underneath for the easy under, but that time was not easy.
Yeah, when we're using numbers, say like the 1, 2, so 1 is the player at the front, and 5 would be the player at the back. As that upline throw, despite a couple of bidding receivers, goes to ground, and it'll be another turn for Mainzelmädchen to try and restore a 2-point lead.
Oh, that was close.
Love the commitment shown there from both players, even if they couldn't quite get it to work. Force them back, but Mainzelmädchen find a way to huck their way out of it. I wonder if they go for the follow-up. Instead, they're just going to take a little bit more time, reset themselves. Throw goes up line and floats a little bit, but well reeled in. Thinks about the deep, fakes the forehand, and then goes for the backhand, but not quite there.
Nice run through D by the Trouble defender right there.
Yeah, I think you could say that the defense is causing Mainzelmädchen all sorts of problems.
We'll be here all week, folks.
Yeah. Well, all weekend at any rate.
Exactly.
Next week we'll be in either Bruges or Wrocław, depending on what takes your fancy. More on that story later. There's a brief stoppage here because the disc from the far field has drifted over to us. And now it's checked back in for troubles. The Poles trying to find a way to get the disc downfield. Everything going short at the moment, with the Germans forcing them to play it around the backfield. Nice break there, gets into a little bit of space, but not quite the timing on any continuation, and the flow is stopped and stymied. Getting that one off in tight pressure and tight coverage.
Nice strong catch.
And then a lovely little dish up line into a power position. It's going to bait the huck. The huck goes, and really well boxed and really well read to bring troubles level at 2 apiece.
That was nice, easy, smooth, transitional offense, I should say, by Troubles. They just kind of took their time on that end zone, just swinging it back and forth, having the undercuts, not really forcing anything, but using what they could have. Some nice, strong catches, and then, like we said before, just slinging it down the field to get that score.
And you saw as soon as the disc, this little pop-up line went, just got behind the back of the defender, always looking at that deep shot. And this is perfectly weighted, lovely feathery flick. And the box there just draws the defender underneath a little bit, the disc a little bit, and then you've got the space to run underneath it, reel it in, and bring us back level at 2 apiece.
And then as you can see right there was a nice little push pass to get the momentum for the swing of the throw.
Love that,
and
love
it's
that.
just, like we said, you can kind of rile it up so that way you can get more power underneath so you can have that nice feathery throw for the
Yeah,
score.
you're seeing the play develop.
Exactly.
And again, especially on a pass like that where it's not just zinked into you, it's you know, it's a lot more comfortable of a catch. You want to make things as easy as possible for that handler coming up the line. Now it's Mainzelmädchen's turn to huck, and the first receiver suckers the defender underneath, but the second receiver got there, read it really brilliantly, but just couldn't get the disc to stay in the hands.
Just right through the grasp.
Yeah, sneaks its way through. Maybe the wind a little bit there, just deviating the height of the disc so it wasn't quite where she expected, perhaps.
Agreed.
That's a beautiful throw and go to initiate the possession. Using that pickup of that foot, get the weight going forward in motion. And another beautiful deep put there from Troubles. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. It's not quite in the end zone. You feel that maybe the throw deserved it. And then on the score, not quite, just too far out in front. Well, you almost feel like some of the way that play was initiated and some of those throws deserved the score, but unless you make the catch in the end zone, it ain't going to count.
Exactly. As much as we like to give style points.
And we do. We really do. Unfortunately, they don't go down in the scorebooks. No. That should be one of the spirit categories. It should be like, you know, communication, fair-mindedness, whatever. Our style compared to theirs. So Mainzelmädchen, well, they want to huck as well, but that one you could see just came out at an awkward angle. The wind kind of prevented any momentum that had.
And just took it down. And now we can see Trouble get their second break in a row. Take the lead.
Yeah, this will be their first lead in the game. That one going around, it's going to float a little bit, and Mainzelmädchen will snaffle that one up. So we're seeing some really nice passages here. Really nice passages of play, but also those, yeah, some mistakes coming in as well. It's about which team I think can access the better aspects of their play on a more consistent basis.
This is really turning out to be a grind point right here too.
At what point?
A grind point.
Oh, a grind. Yeah, sorry. consistently now getting it up the line, squeezing it in there, and then Troubles jam it in the jam hole for their first lead of the game at 3-2.
And even then, too, that was just a nice kind of transition from the defense, or from the D back in the end, midway point, just to kind of smoothly go it in. Like you said, just jam it in the jam hole, but be precise and don't force anything you don't have to, just to go ahead and get the score to lead.
Yeah, so 3-2 now to Troubles. We'll see the score again on the replay. Again, just really being aggressive in these cuts, waiting for the defenders to be on their heels. Timing that nicely. And then the force just a little bit far off, and it means they can just sit the backhand into space. Don't even need to go for the flick for the scoring pass. And Troubles take a 3-2 lead here.
Easy breezy.
Good game.
Very.
Both sides not afraid to uncork the long bomb here. And you love to see it.
You do?
Why am I cold? It's lovely. Why am I cold?
This wind's just not affecting the game outside. It's affecting the 10 in here too.
I feel a bit silly, but I feel even sillier because my coat's in the hotel.
Oh.
Hotel. It's alright, after the game I'll get like a penguin huddle for warmth.
We'll go maybe throw a few disc out there.
In the what? At Frisbee tournament?
Yeah.
No chance. People want to know how terrible I am. Here's Mainzelmädchen coming back out on offense here. With Troubles switching things up slightly, going with a zone. We'll see how the Germans can piece this apart, push and pull the defenders out of position and open up those gaps. In these windy conditions though, when both sides have shown some throwing and receiving errors, not necessarily a bad option. That's an expansive blade to switch the field position from one side to the other, but it worked. Getting a bit creative, I like that. Now in the narrow up line space.
And right here, this is what Trouble would like to have them pinned on the sideline from Mainzelmädchen. Let's see if they can get out and kind of force it back to the middle.
Just about, snuck that one past the defender's ears and leading it into space. It's tailing away, but well tracked, well read. The first continuation throw into the end zone isn't there, neither is the second. And that one, still the defenders close in, but the channel was there. And it's like the Red Sea was parted and the disc was slung through for a 3-all score.
Talk about a tight window. She just fit it right in. I thought it was a D by Troubles again, but that was smooth play and then also great focus.
I like the Troubles tried that zone, but Mainzelmädchen seemed very unfazed by the whole thing.
Yeah, they were just moving and grooving. Like we said, even Troubles had the position where they wanted to trap them on the sideline to make it a harder throw, but they still, Mainzelmädchen got it to the middle, and then you got to find their options.
I'm standing up now just so I can stretch my legs a little bit more. And this is not because I'm old and sore and I can't sit down for ages. Absolutely not. No, not at all.
Not at all. Benji, you've been commentating for almost 3 hours, just about 3 hours now, so.
Yeah, all in a day's work. There's nowhere I'd rather be than right here at Vienna Spring Break.
Spring break.
Spring break, baby! Yeah, mercifully, there's not the absolute rabble-rousing that comes at an American-style spring break. Oh, good underneath cut, but just, you know, going to ground, it's a little bit awkward. And you can hear now the wind really whipping up. And also what sounds like an alarm coming from somewhere.
It's very interesting. I didn't know that was the equipment or what.
That's not us, I'm pretty sure.
No.
It's not my bones creaking. Not yet. Mainzelmädchen putting a little bit of air under this one. The wind's going to carry that, and that's really well tracked to get underneath. Just a continuation, unfortunately, wasn't there.
Just without the grasp.
What you're seeing here is these throwers, they're not trying to fight the wind, they're trying to utilize it. Think, how is this going to affect my throws? How can I sit this out into space? How can I get the shape so the disc to flatten out? It's not about battling against it, it's about using it to your advantage.
And I'll say both of these teams are doing a pretty good job so far of using it to their advantage. As you can see right here for the deep look.
Past the defender, but unfortunately for Trouble's perspective, past the receiver as well. Again, we're just seeing it from both sides. Some really nice passages of play, and then also just some bits when it's not quite sticking.
Exactly. Everything's just about there besides that last little oomph.
So Mainzelmädchen bringing the disc back in. Low. See again, that time the wind's pushing it to the ground. Both sides having their moments and phases where they're adapting to it and moments where they're not, as the wind is picking up again, coming towards the camera and slightly right to left. So this is a difficult sideline to get the disc away from. But a really nice around there. Again, utilising that quick throw and go. Trying to be a nuisance in the backfield. Throws to space, and under tight pressure, the disc sticks in the hands for a 4-3 Troubles lead.
And that's another break for the Troubles right there as well, too, to extend the lead.
Are you doing mental maths in your head?
Not good mental math, apparently.
No, I don't think that was a break.
No, they held.
Yes, but yeah, they are one break up in this game. It looks like we're going to see a timeout. And you know what, this isn't a surprise. I'm not sure who called it, but for both sides, actually, with the wind clearly now having an effect on some throws, and it's about how can we access that level that we showed at points during this game on that consistent basis.
Exactly, I completely agree. And we even saw the zone come out first for a point from the Troubles. I wonder if they're going to implement it more with this wind kind of picking up, as we saw before. Mainzelmädchen weren't as troubled with them.
I honestly, even though it didn't work, I'd be tempted to stick with it a little bit. Maybe make some, maybe tinker with it rather than completely scrap it or change it. But yeah, in this wind, there's certainly potential for that. We're going to take a little bit of a breather here in the commentary booth to do leg scratching and general hype. We'll be back in a very short while after these messages.
He's in a great spot. He's in a perfect spot. Yes, his massive head has blocked everything. That was a huge play, but we have seen none of it. Finny, he's done it.
Just a little reminder there for everyone at the various tournaments we'll stream over this summer, that where we got the space to do so, just give us a little bit of room. Makes the broadcast a lot better experience for you to watch back later, and for your friends and family watching at home as well. And the thing that makes that clear for me is the fact that Finny's wearing the number 69, because of course he would.
It just makes the clip that much better.
It's disgraceful behaviour, honestly. So don't be like Finny.
Respect the 3.
Respect the 3 metre line.
We even got an audience out there.
Hey, why not?
Fanting the game as well. It's a beautiful day, just windy right now.
Yeah. But if you've got that coat on to, be a little bit of a windbreak, glorious weather here in Austria. And it wouldn't be a frisbee tournament without a little bit of wind.
Exactly.
Here's Mainzelmädchen attempting a throw into tight coverage, and Troubles made them pay for it. Troubles now will have the disc with a chance to take their first 2-point lead.
It was a nice run through the D as well.
Yeah, continuing to sprint all the way through. Disc into the centre of the pitch. See planes take off in the distance. Downfield, right on the end zone line pretty much, and the simple pop pass to the handler coming through will give Troubles that 2-point advantage at 5-3. Timeout seems to have done them the world of good.
It did. And it all starts with kind of running through the Ds like we talked about earlier, just giving 100%, continuing to have that flow, and then that way you can transition that to your offense to lead to the break as well.
Yeah, in terms of location, we're not necessarily central in Vienna. We're relatively close to the airport. It's about a 15-minute car ride, I think, on the way here yesterday.
Yes. When
we were doing our setup and testing, where we amazingly just about got everything to work first time, with the exception of the the crew talkback system, which I think we now fixed.
Yeah, that's when we went to that little store yesterday that we talked about earlier.
Not even a little store. It's a pretty,
pretty big store, yeah.
Yeah, and with a big supermarket below where we stocked up on supplies. Oh, it reminds me, I brought crisps with me.
Oh yes.
Sorry, we're in Europe. I brought chips with me. Crinkle cut, of course.
We're gonna have to open that soon.
Yeah, we might do actually. So here's Mainzelmädchen. Oh, that's a little bit behind, but a really good snatch.
And here we see the cup as well by Trouble.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it does the business. Just maybe the receiver's a little bit discombobulated downfield, not unsure of their positions, and you get the turn, and Trouble's now looking to stamp their authority on the game. That's a lovely little inside-out shot to start this possession. Good sticky dump coverage, but the handler comes through and collects the little pop. But there's a pick called. I think going to catch up, but I think the disc will stay in its current position. Probably about 5 yards out, or in Europe, 5 meters out. I know that's not how conversion works. I'm not going to pretend that I understand it.
We don't use meters either, so I'm right with you.
Nice dump and swing. Textbook dump and swing from Troubles. Trapped right on that far side of the field. Not afraid to lose a bit of yardage to get the disc in a better position. Continue it towards this near sideline. Shot down the sideline.
And it was very nice, too, just to kind of see, like, we talked about that swing rocking him to sleep real quick, and then that way, when it's least expected, beat to the cone. Again, it's my mantra for the weekend. Maybe the life, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Trouble's still there. You know, they're not just coming, when they come off the pitch, they're not just like, that was good. You know, they're still having discussions about how can we improve this, what can we do, what can we change, what was good, what was not so good. It's, I think generally analysis tends to be very outcome focused.
Exactly.
Like, it worked, so it must have been good. Even though that's not necessarily always the case. Sometimes you do good stuff and it doesn't work, and sometimes you do bad stuff and it does work. So it's about kind of looking at the process and weighing up, trying to take a wider evaluation on the whole rather than simple, it worked, it was good. That's how you often get drawn into traps and mistakes.
Exactly. That way you can keep the intensity up, kind of work on those mistakes, so that way they have lesser mistakes and then don't have to worry about being as lucky with those. Not saying they are lucky, but just in general.
It's difficult to get better if you can't correctly identify what needs improvement.
Exactly.
Here's Mainzelmädchen. After this has been, I think, a 4-point Troubles run. We'll see if they can get themselves back on the board here. It's really good active marking. You can see the intensity on the eyes on the mark. And a lovely little inside flick towards the far sideline, going to stay in bounds. Thought maybe it was going to run away a little bit. But it was well tracked down. And now Mainzelmädchen will continue to try and work their way forward. Oh, that is a spicy shot. But too much Tabasco on that one.
And if you're Trouble, you're okay with that type of throw. You want them to bait into the kind of blade into the wind.
Yeah. If they exactly, this is the sort of talking about the results, not process. Like the process not necessarily being results based. Like if you can, if that's the throw that you want them to make, probably, and if they're making it and it comes off, that you'll find you just say, okay, we let them make that throw, they execute it on that occasion, but we can still say it was, we're not sure whether they have the consistency on that, so that's a shot that we're fine with them taking.
Exactly.
The reason I mentioned how close we are to the airport is because we get a lot of low-flying aircraft. That one is absolutely zinged deep. Got it all the way to the end zone line. Receiver stuck a hand out, couldn't quite make it work, but again, this is... I don't want to say that you are playing the percentages slightly, I think, because if it doesn't work, well, at the very least, you're making your opponent work it, the full length of the field against the wind.
Exactly. And then if it does work, you're closer to the end zone. So I think, why even bother throwing it underneath? Just bomb it deep every pass. As you can tell, Benji and I are pretty biased when it comes to unders.
Yeah. And what you're seeing there is the reason why England have not won the Football World Cup since 1966. There's a little bit of a hand block there. We'll tip the disc out of that far sideline. And give Troubles good field position. Field position that they want to strike quite away, and that is so devastating for an offense when you get the turnover and the defense immediately straight away picks up, jacks it to the end zone, one score. That sudden change can be difficult to adapt to, and Troubles there took full advantage, and they're running away with it a little bit now. They've opened up a big gap, 7-3 the current score. Troubles, to their credit, have really found an extra gear after that timeout.
They really have, and even just kind of coming back from that 2-0 standpoint we saw before to get it to 2-1 instead of 3-0. I think that kind of facilitates some of the changes as well. And right here you can see a nice, beautiful throw up the field and nice and high points, so that way only she can grab it.
Yeah, putting the trust in the receivers there. I've no idea how Mike's still going the classic Australian cameraman look.
I wish
no shirt and shorts.
I wish we could show you right now, but he's the one behind the camera.
What's the whole thing about dress for the job you want, not the job you have? I think Mike is doing both.
He's living the dream.
I think this ball's going to sail out of the sideline. It's going to go into one of the hockey goals on the sideline. Is that a hockey goal? No, hockey goals have the ones at the back. I think there might just be small football goals.
Yeah.
Football. Hockey goals tend to have like the actual backboard, I think.
Right, yeah, they have like a little wooden piece, I believe, kind of square to get it in. I think that is a nice little football goal. We'll see if this Troubles defense can live up to what he's been doing all day. They force another turn.
Yeah, that time they turned to isolate the reset, but it was really stifling dump coverage. So they did find the option downfield and maybe just rushed it slightly. That's a really nice grab, popping up, rising to catch that, and there's a pick downfield that will temporarily halt proceedings. And disc is checked back in with Troubles here, looking to punch this in for half. Good snag. Again on the sideline. And resetting into the centre. They've done that very well. Trying to get the disc out of these potentially dangerous pressure points. And going to be a stoppage here. Maybe a foul as the two players just locked limbs a little bit as on that upline cut.
I think we had a little collision, but right now you can see a lot of Troubles kind of working with their handlers, trying to see if they can force the field or kind of open up a spot for their cutters to come in underneath.
Good use of hand signals there. You see uncontested foul, so this will be checked back in on 0. The hand signals make communication so much easier between players on field, especially when they're not necessarily a common language, and also for us on the sideline. Deep shot. Wow, there was not a huge window there, and absolutely lasered it in there for Troubles to take half 8-3.
And as you can see there too, it was a nice little toe tap right by the boundary, so it was a getting big catch right there, as I like to say, kind of making full use of your body, catching that high point and making sure your toes are in bounds.
Yeah, I think there is a kind of a very brief halftime perhaps that the teams might take. I think they don't necessarily have to, and however, Troubles will be receiving to begin the second half as well, and that is they've done the old 2 for none.
Exactly.
Put the disc in, go to halftime, receive the disc coming out, you get 2 possessions, and if you play your cards right, 2 scores without the opponent ever even having the disc. It's why a lot of teams like coming out on defense.
Exactly.
Means if you can get that first half break, feels like it counts a bit more. Both these sides, to their credit, actually they don't want to hang around, they just want to keep going.
Keep the fire going, I understand.
Yeah, with these short 70-minute games as well, why hang about?
Exactly.
You know, you've come potentially a long way to play. You've only got, you know, X number of games over the course of a weekend. You don't want to spend a decent portion of those on the sideline just talking amongst yourselves. Just get out there and play.
And that's what we're about to see right now as they start up.
Oh, yeah.
Hand raised for the pull.
So after a tight opening quarter where the Mainzelmädchen had the better of their Polish opponents, Troubles have really come back into this game. They've knocked the Germans back a little bit now with an 8-3 half-time lead.
As we see Troubles walking into the brick right now.
And the disc is checked in.
And here we see a nice horizontal stack too, Benji.
Yeah, trying to give those give their cutters a bit more space and room to work with. That one is going to pop up over the hands and slap down to the ground by Mainzelmädchen. I think one of the reasons we're seeing a lot of teams go vertical rather than horizontal is with these slightly narrower fields. Maybe you don't have the width to get the spacing as you maybe would like in a horizontal setup, but they're coming out with with no initial reset. The front of the stack will provide that, and they come and they get that starting swing pass. Now underneath into this open side channel. Trouble's trying to funnel all the play onto this sideline, and they're doing that well, but so far Mainzelmädchen are sticking the catches.
And if you're Mainzelmädchen, I was going to say, it's still a good point. You're still looking for defense. You're still getting that motivation. You just got to grind a little bit more to get the disc back, but it's still looking promising.
Yeah, it was quite an expansive look to get it off the sideline. Just couldn't quite get that shape that was required. Just the wrong trajectory and the wrong edge on the throw meant that it hit the turf. And now Troubles are getting their, really hitting their straps, getting the offense in motion. I think this is going to go towards the near sideline. No, faked. Going towards the other side, looking deep, trying to roll it towards the back cone. Beautiful throw. Beautiful throw for a 9-3 lead.
What a throw, too. Just kind of seeing where, again, that eye contact and just trusting your teammate, your cutter, just to be like, I'm going to throw it for the score.
Yeah, feels like the... yeah, Troubles have just been able to kick it up a notch or two after the first few points, and Mainzelmädchen haven't been able to match that intensity necessarily. As you can see here, just well weighted down that sideline, and the receiver just has to just pull up ever so slightly, but still has that separation that they've created and that they've earned, and yeah, makes the relatively comfortable catch because they've done the hard work of getting a bit free already. The arm comes up to try and desperately, maybe get a fingertip on it, or just to make the receiver lose focus, that intimidation D you were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
But no such luck on that occasion.
As we see here, Mainzelmädchen trying to devise a plan for this drive. See if we can maybe touch up a few things on this point.
Yeah, coming out on offense this time. I think also as the wind picked up a little bit, Troubles have shown a bit more of an affinity for these conditions.
Agreed. And we're off.
So the pull from Troubles is a nice deep pull as well, going slightly against the wind. Going to force the Germans to work the disc pretty much the length of the field. But they find a nice little pocket of space there, slightly underneath. Troubles players try and find their matchups once more. Low reset. Oh, I thought it was just about going to almost spoon it into the grass. But they've put, to Troubles' credit actually, they've put so much pressure on those resets. They're not letting them, reset the stall count, quickly and easily. And it's giving them some relatively cheap turnovers, like the one they just made themselves.
Exactly. A rare miscommunication between the handler set right there.
So Mainzelmädchen not necessarily seeing what they like downfield. Some really sticky coverage there. So trying to work it between the handler set. And this is where they have generated a few turns in this game. That one just about snuck that past the receiver's ears.
As you can see too with this Trouble defense, like Benji mentioned earlier, it's just, they're sticking to them. It's hard to find a look, it's hard to find a handler set, or maybe even a cutter downfield. They're right with them.
However, that is a really nice look. I was about to say, it's the first time we've seen them look deep for a while, but this throw is going to flutter. A couple of players were there, and there's going to be a call here. Maybe trying to establish whether she had possession before it was knocked away. I think, yeah, just rushed this, leaning back a little bit, so they got too much air under it.
I do believe she's trying to call the strip, Benji, but honestly, I think I got to go with the defender on there. I think she had the block first.
So,
oh, that's tough. That's close.
Yeah, rules clarification is that if it is simultaneous, then the tie goes to the offense. But that time they're still saying the defender got there first, and Troubles just wanted to huck their way out of it, and that was coming back in. It was not coming back in.
It was a nice catch from the Trouble player.
Yeah, Troubles player on the sideline. Yeah,
just the wrong one. But
I think actually early in the game we saw Mainzelmädchen be quite effective with the deep look, and the wind has with the wind picking up, they haven't looked for that as often, and it's meant that Troubles have really been able to clamp down on the underneath passes and on the handler movement. This throw's going to float. It is. There was a pick called, but did it affect that? Is the question.
I don't think so, Benji. I think it just kind of. Maybe I'm wrong. Looks like Trouble's picking up the disc now.
Yeah, the question is, are they picking it up to pick it up, or are they picking it up to send it back?
Looks like they're sending it back.
They are sending it back. Players seem happy with the result. And again, really tight reset spaces. But that time they get it off and they make it work. And there's the big look. Huge look.
Look at that fly.
And that time, defender doing just enough.
And even then, too, with Trouble, you can see them kind of, it's not enough just to have that one-on-one defense. You can see the other teammates kind of coming on and clamping the disc as well, too, so that way they can have the extra protection for those deep looks.
Not sure if they deflected that much, but was enough. And you can see they're actually behind the end zone, wearing those kind of maroon burgundy jerseys, is Costa Rica Grandes, who we're going to have next on this stream from Italy, taking up another German team. Siebenschwaben, as this one just tails out of bounds. Was not far away at all. Wind's dropped a little bit now. It's not consistent, which again can make it difficult to weigh up some throws. Mike, I think, bit on one of those fakes on camera too. Not that I'm calling you out or anything, Mike, but I absolutely am. Trouble's trying to force the disc towards this sideline. Tight re-space, and actually the convincing fake in towards the backfield opened up the space to get the disc up line. There's no continuation for them though. And again, they're going to try another up line. Trouble's player tries to sit in the space. Bit of contact, but Mainzelmädchen happy to play on. Can't take advantage of the defender out of position. Again, they're getting it all up the line, and despite the fact that Troubles are really trying to close in on that space, they're just about finding options, and Mainzelmädchen eventually get the cutter in the end zone free. That's their first point in 6 or 7 for 9-4. Brilliant for them to apply a tourniquet to stop the bleeding. Metaphorically, obviously.
And even then, too, just to have the kind of grit to come back after those 2 unsuccessful deep looks to kind of take their time, reconvene, and then also get it in for the score, too. And like you said, too, they had some nice fakes right in there, so that way they can open up more of the handler side and the foreside.
So 9-4 the current score here in Vienna. Vienna spring break. This is our 3rd game of the day and our 2nd game in the women's division. As we mentioned, coming up next, we've got Costa Rica Grandes from Rimini in Italy, taking on Siebenschwaben from Germany, another German team on the live stream. We'll have 2 more pool games after that as well before we go into bracket play this evening. 4 pools of 4 in the open division and 3 pools of 4 and 1 pool of 3 in the women's division. So 31 teams in all this weekend. And of course we won't quite be able to bring you all of them, but hopefully we'll get a nice decent cross section. Both of these teams will be hoping that we'll get the chance to stream them again later on in the brackets.
We see Trouble bringing out that host deck again too, which they've been successful with so far.
Yeah, it's providing a lot of, with maybe some more players in the backfield, so to speak, it's providing a lot of quick handler movement, and actually there's a concerted effort here to try and keep the stall count low, although near the end zone with space at a premium. It's getting a little bit higher now, a couple of players attacking that front cone. nice reset. Can swing it around towards the break side. Got to be a continuation cut. Oh, wow. What a play.
What? The foot block. That was phenomenal.
You know how like we usually say, catch your D's, and we mean it all the time. And then when someone foot blocks it, you say it ironically because obviously you can't catch it with your feet. Well, you've got to. If she wasn't there to catch it, then it might well have been caught for the score. So always got to catch your D's, people. We cannot say this enough.
She took it seriously.
Yeah, like honestly, I've said this so many times on streams over the years, and people think, oh yeah, it's funny. No, you catch your D's. Look at the foot block. Good lord. And then the snag as well to just swipe it away. That is a play. Hot damn.
That leg got up there too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's going to be in the end of day highlight reel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put money on it, and not because I'm editing it.
We see Mainzelmädchen kind of get the nice D2 in a promising position in the end zone.
Yeah, now maybe it's time for the Germans to have a run of their own. Trying to move the mark around with the fake to open up a bit more space. Resets into the backfield. There's that continuation of the dump swing that we saw Troubles do so effectively in the first half. And this time, it's Mainzelmädchen's turn to make it work. 9-5. Comeback is on, question mark?
For a good break, yeah, I think so. And that was all set up by that foot block, and then also the impressive catch after the foot block. Like you said, catch your Ds. That is very, very, very important. I cannot stress it enough.
There was always the risk that after, Troubles had that brilliant run at the end of the first half that, Mainzelmädchen, not just them specifically, but any team, you let a few points slip away. Sometimes, in the second half, it can be hard to kind of get yourself back up, boost yourself back into it. But Troubles have left them some chances, and now they're starting to capitalise on those.
I cannot agree more, especially with this chance right now. If the wind's picking back up, they're coming back on defense. It'd be interesting to see what they come out and see if they can force another D.
Also, this Troubles jersey might be the most colourful black jersey I've ever seen.
I like it. It's got names on the back and the front too. It's very colourful.
I like it. No, I'm a big fan actually. I think it's good. And this is the first iteration of this jersey, I think, as well, for Mainzelmädchen, and I like those as well.
Yeah,
good. It's nice that teams like. I'll come back to this thought later after Troubles. Absolutely going to jack this. What a bomb and what a grab! Wow, good defense on it as well.
Nice,
but wow, that's the way to answer. Mainzelmädchen break. What have you got in the locker, Troubles? Well, that's something. That's something indeed.
It is a beautiful way to respond right there. Get a nice slang off there. That way, make a nice setup. Again, back with this horizontal, excuse me. And just throw it on deep.
Back your receiver. Beautiful. But the point I was going to make is when sublimation first came in for jerseys, everyone was like, we'll do everything with the jerseys, and I found they were generally way too busy and cluttered. But people now, they're realizing that they don't have to do everything with them.
Exactly, simplicity is key sometimes too.
Yeah, I tend to favour quite a classic minimalist approach, I think, with jersey design.
And that's also what I like about the game of Frisbee as well. You can have those kind of simplistic kits that mean a lot and kind of represent a lot too, but then you can also have the fun one like the Troubles kit kind of right now with a lot of expression, a lot of colors, but it also just looks really nice.
You can because it's not a, there's less of a template. You can really capture your team ethos and vibe a little bit more in what you wear.
Oh, that one's coming right over here.
Is indeed. Thought for a little bit it might end up in our tent, but no such luck. Mainzelmädchen will bring this in from the brick mark. And that time, on underneath pass, just a straight run through D. And Troubles aren't hanging about, wanting to strike while they're on his hot. That's really floaty and really well towed in. Let's see with those Tokai cleats and went for the toe drag swag, and it only works if you catch the disc as well.
That is true. It's a two-parter right there. You have to make sure your feet are in and also catch the disc.
This one is absolutely rifle deep, and actually a really good extra turn of speed there. You can see cranking up through the gears. They were stride for stride, and just the extra breakaway speed at the end.
What's she securing up right now? Oh.
Thought about the deep option instead, going back underneath. That's what you like after a receiver makes the drop. Still got the faith, still trust them to get free. Not going to look them off. Here comes the up line cut. Well covered, doesn't go. Thinks about the swing. It's all very close and very congested. And now Troubles are just getting in the middle of the park, so they've got a bit more space to work with here. Bit of a high release on that one to just sit it on the wind. And Troubles get a break back themselves. 6-point lead restored at 11-5.
I was about to say, I didn't even see her come from the cut or to get the score in the end zone. I was looking at the whole, the right side of the field instead of the left side. So that was very impressive. Very chilly Troubles after kind of just, you know, working it down, getting the return D, and then just working their way down the field.
And I think it's partly because they've demonstrated that really good ability to dump swing throughout this game. That maybe the defenders, they're cheating on the break side a little bit there. They're not necessarily sure exactly where they need to be. And the cut there, I think, it really it's the defender's quite front on, and it's really attacking the defender, so it's forcing them on their heels a little bit.
Exactly. And that way, when they're on their heels, they can't really make the turns or the cuts that they need to, and that's when you mark your direction whichever way you need to go. And as we saw right there, that's where the score.
We're going to take another little bit of a break now, but don't go anywhere because we'll be back for the exciting conclusion of this game in about 30 seconds or so.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. Ultimate.tv.
Welcome back to Ulti.tv's coverage of Vienna Spring Break. Benji Reese and Corey Sostre in the commentary booth. And we've got Nick's running the desk today, or I say today, at the moment. Felix on cam 1, Mike on cam 2. All of our Ulti TV crew is of course delighted to be here, and all our events will be across the upcoming season, including a double trouble next weekend with Tom's tourney in Bruges and the European Masters Club Championships in Wrocław, and you can watch them all live and on demand for free on Ulti.tv's YouTube channel.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, if you are going to be watching, I highly recommend that you subscribe and follow and stuff like that to make sure that you know when we're going live. And I highly recommend as well looking at our Patreon page as well as Mainzelmädchen with a soaring deeper that just tails away and picks up the fingertips on the way past. It's close, but no cigar.
Exactly. It was a nice deep look as well, too. Just kind of the wind has died down now, kind of utilizing those deep looks as more and more.
Troubles using the horizontal set to open up that space underneath. And now they're working it down this sideline.
She's looking.
Yeah, I found like this set's given them a bit more space and a bit more room for everyone to work with, rather than the congestion often we've seen from a few sides today. I like that their offense has real pace when it works. They can kind of rope-a-dope you a little bit, get you on your heels, and then like really attack with a lot of speed. Keep the disc moving quickly. Always keep you guessing. And that time, Troubles again. They thought maybe Mainzelmädchen would getting a foothold back in this game, and Troubles have shown that they're not to be troubled with.
That was a good one right there. Pun count maybe at 8 now, I think. I think we got 8 puns.
Probably at least, yeah.
But even then, too, with Trouble using that horizontal stack, it's working really, really in their favor. They're having more holes in the defense they can exploit. They're having these throws downfield that they can use for most of the field. And as you can just kind of see right here in this replay, it's just bing, bing, bam, score.
This is when I think a lot of offenses are at their best, regardless of how you set up initially. it's, you know, that's just a starting point in order to get people in movement, get people in motion. And generally, most good offenses, when they're working, you're seeing players already getting free, making those cuts in advance, and the initial structure goes out the window for a bit, and you just play frisbee.
Exactly. You just have fun.
You just play frisbee.
I was about to say, I myself personally, I'm more of a vertical stack. I love that. But horizontal stack, you can never go wrong with that, especially when it works well, and it works very well, as we can see right now.
I just like playing frisbee.
Me too.
That ball lands inbounds. It's going to go out the sidelines, and it will be brought in from the front cone. Swung into the centre of the end zone, seeing there the advantage of a good pull, because Mainzelmädchen right slap bang in the centre of their end zone. Well, in the States where there'd be a reverse brick mark, and that pressure may be in the mind a little bit. Throw bounces out of the sideline off the receiver's hands. Trying to strike quickly and efficiently. And that is how you do it from Troubles. 13-5. That was ruthless.
It really
Absolutely ruthless.
It really was. I mean, you have to pay attention, because if you take your eyes off of it one time, you're going to miss it. And so just, as you can see, just with the miscatch right there, pick the disc up and making it easy around for the score.
That's one of those things. Maybe there's that subconscious pressure of the fact that you're so close to your own end zone.
I think so, especially like you said, a beautiful pull like that right at that brick mark just makes it so much harder, and you don't want to give the Callahan.
Oh God, no.
That's a highlight you don't want to be in. So
no. And you might be able to hear the wind's picking up a little bit. I might have to put my hat on to prevent it blowing away. One of the various bits of tournament swag that I've picked up over the years. Not that that's why we do it, but it's, you know, it's kind of a nice little memento when you look back and see. I like seeing other tournament gear in the wild, being like, I was at that tournament. Or you occasionally the thing where you unintentionally plan wearing the same like tournament kit as someone else.
Exactly.
And it's like, yeah, you get that nice little bond together.
They have really cool designs too, so just kind of showing that off, and even to people who don't follow Frisbee as much, and them asking, hey, what is this? It brings so much more worth and recognition to the game.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there has been some really hideous tournament gear over the years, but also some quite tasteful ones.
Oh yeah.
Which is, you know, nice, but also slightly disappointing. Good second effort grab there from Mainzelmädchen. Thinks about the around, doesn't like it though. There's a wide open underneath. And the receiver had to put on the jets a little bit to get there. Now they're looking deep. And they actually they sandwiched the receiver really well there. Had one defender coming a little bit shorter, one slightly behind, and it means there's such a narrow window. And you could see also what effect the wind was having, because it just kept pushing it deep.
It really did. As you could see initially, I thought it looked pretty good, even sandwiched between the defenders, but then the wind said nope and just gave it that extra amount of gusts to go right past her.
So Troubles with a throw that never really gets off the turf. He's going to give the disc back to Mainzelmädchen. Probably about 2/3 of the way through. Level with the attacking brick mark now. And again, this throw leaning back is airmailed. A massive humanity underneath it. And it falls right into a Mainzelmädchen lap.
Just as they wrote it up.
Visionary. Absolutely visionary.
Benji, that thing hung up there for a while too. I mean, I could have went to the bathroom and came on back. It was
honestly
there.
It's one of those sort of jump balls where you're kind of tempted on the sideline to take your headset off and get involved in
Exactly.
Play a bit of 500s. And you can see actually when she throws it, she knows that she's not happy with it. Like, she turns away in frustration, but receiver read it well, got a body in position, made a very secure catch. And again, obviously, it's not quite how she wants it to come off, but if you're being aggressive, you're making the throws. You know, sometimes you get rewarded for that.
Exactly. Taking the chances where they come, because you can't write everything up. So where it comes, then where it comes. So
yeah, being rewarded for the endeavour and the idea, if not necessarily the execution. Ball's caught by Troubles, trying to get their offense in motion quickly. And again, you can see they're dishing it off for handlers running through. And now here comes the deep look. Back of the end zone's closing in, but actually brilliantly done once more. Getting underneath, popping up to catch it with 2 hands. Well-weighted shot once more from Troubles. 1 point away from victory here at 14-6.
And even then, too, you can see the desire in her eyes when she wanted to throw it. As soon as she caught that up line in perfect position to just chuck it deep.
I think that's, again, that's one of the advantages of having this setup, is it does provide a lot to, you know, when the receiver's coming under. With the 3 handlers, it maybe encourages one of those to run through a little bit and collect that pop off. They're looking forward downfield, seeing what they can, you know, they're getting the disc in power position, seeing how the play's developing. It's really worked, this game for Troubles, I think. It's really worked.
It really has, and as you can see too, kind of with that 3 handler set in the horizontal stack, they're trying to resist the unders coming from the cutters as well, so it's easier for the cutters just to go deep, and as you can see with that, it just turned into a beautiful point. Beautiful score.
So Paul lands inbounds, doesn't quite make it to the sideline. Here's the big look from Mainzelmädchen. That is a beauty, but it's going to hang in the end, and a couple of defenders there just about swatted away. Nice slap of hands as well. Did they? No, maybe it stuck. I thought there was a... I didn't see the disc.
Yeah, no, I think she boxed out and then got it and then pulled it right behind her back as soon as the other one came. It was like a Houdini act right there, as you can see that.
That's
replay.
why. So that, hang on, yeah, we will look at this on the replay because I thought this was deed because I didn't see the disc there at all. I mean, it was a beautiful throw. It just maybe hung up a little bit, or maybe not. Replay machine had other ideas, as sometimes it does. But yeah, I guess I held my hands up there. I must have completely seen that wrong. But have a look at it from cam 2.
I mean, I don't blame you at all. This one was, again, very, very, very close.
Yeah.
How?
Wow. Under tight pressure, how she caught that. And then, as you say, just the nonchalance to have it behind, like kind of hind it behind the back.
Oh my gosh.
Like now you see it, now you don't.
As you can see with this wind picking up, the roll was very, very key.
Yeah, and it's going to pin Troubles in deep. They have shown a propensity to work well under pressure, but the wind is definitely whipping up a little bit. I wonder how long they play short. You know, they like to use these handler pops before waiting for the big shot. Thought it might go there, instead still working it underneath. Another little pop to gain a few yards. Already now they've crossed halfway, and this could be the final possession. Shot for goal is good. Troubles with a very entertaining 15-7 victory here over Mainzelmädchen.
Very smooth score, very smooth score. Great game, great effort by both teams as well too. You
Yeah.
see the passion on the field. We saw, again, a great amount of things. Some downfield hucks, some nice blocking out, some horizontal stacks, I think, done correctly. We even saw some cups. Just a mixture of everything.
Yeah, an intriguing game to watch, certainly. And at the start, it looked very close, and then Troubles had that great run in the first half. The second half, Mainzelmädchen came out strong. Looked like maybe there was going to be a comeback, and then Troubles found an extra gear. Mainzelmädchen again didn't give up throughout. In the end, yeah, the poll's too good for their German opponents today. But yeah, I think both sides can look at that and say we've done a lot of really good things today.
I completely agree with you, Benji. Even then, too, you know, they've done great things. There's things to work on, but that's why you come and play. You know, it's early in the season. We're just getting started.
Absolutely, we are. We're just getting started here on ulti.tv, not just for the season, but this weekend as well. We've still got 5 more games today.
5 more games.
Let's more games. Yeah, and the next of those is back in the Open Division with Costa Rica Grandes from Rimini on Italy's east coast, taking on Sieben Schwaben from Germany. But for all of us here at Ulti TV, for my broadcast commentary partner, the wonderful Corey Sostray, I'm Benjamin Rees, and don't go anywhere because we will see you on the other side.